On a battlefield long forgotten by New Antioch, cannons still encased by bunkers and tanks abandoned, the Heretic Legion have established a presence. West of the Iron Wall, a force of the Iron Sultanate has taken up positions in nearby trench lines. No Man's Land has been bombed out, creating a death zone between the two lines. Stay tuned for another tale as MGM presents Trench Crusade. Welcome back, Trench Crusade fans. Today we have a matchup between the Iron Sultanate and the Heretic Legion. And what a table we're playing on today, as I had the opportunity to game with my friend David of Skirmish Tabletop Terrain. This terrain is mostly his. I wanted to give him a mention with a link below. I'm not affiliated with Skirmish Tabletop Terrain other than the creator being my friend. He's made several STL bundles available, with the latest being this Heretic bunker and the artillery gun being showed today. He was also an excellent host, and we have a ton of fun playing Trench Crusade on this board. Okay, we're playing at 700 points today, and the lists are not optimized. We wanted to just put some miniatures on the table and have some fun. The Iron Sultanate have a captain with standard armor and a halberd gun. Other elites include an alchemist with a standard armor and a sniper rifle, and a Sultanate assassin with an assassin dagger, standard armor, and a musket. Troops consist of a Lion of Jabir, a Janissary with a pistol, greatsword, and standard armor, and a Nazib with Jezzail, and a mighty brazen bull with a Murad bomb. The bull also carries a Titan Zulfikar. The Heretic Legion has a Heretic Priest with standard armor and a bolt-action rifle, a Death Commando with Tartarus Claws, and a Chorister with standard armor, bolt-action rifle follow him to battle. Troops consist of an Anointed Heavy Infantry with reinforced armor, bolt-action rifle, and grenades, a Heretic Trooper with bolt-action rifle and artillery witch, and a Warwolf Assault Beast. Today we are playing Take and Hold from the random scenario generator. A total of 5 objectives dot the battlefield, and you need to be within 3 inches of an objective with no enemies contesting to hold it. When the game ends, we'll count up the objectives held to see who wins. For deployment, we rolled up for chance encounter, so units will begin off the table unless infiltrating. Half of the warband will come in on the first turn, and the rest will come in on the second. We're scheduled for a minimum of 6 turns today unless a warband routes, with the Heretic Legion winning a roll-off. Table sides have been picked, and both the Assassin and the Death Commando have infiltrated onto the board. We hope you enjoy this narrative game of Trench Crusade. If you're a 3D printer, be sure to check out Skirmish Tabletop Terrain on my mini factory. You can make a battlefield just like this. Let's get to tableside for turn 1. With model counts tied, the turn 1 roll-off is complete, with the Sultanate taking the first turn, bringing on their sniper alchemist, but failing to dash. She does remain in cover, however, as the Heretic Legion sends in a trooper from their board edge, and he is going to dash forward. Across No Man's Land, he can see the Assassin. At minus dice, he opens fire with his bolt-action rifle and misses. The Iron Sultanate send a Janissary onto the board, attempting to dash but fails. The Heretic Legion activate the devastating artillery witch as she moves onto the board and attempts to drop an infernal bomb down on the Assassin. The shot scatters but still hits the Assassin with the blast. The injury result is minor, but taking 2 blood markers due to shrapnel. With her job done, the witch then successfully dashes away. The assassin realizes he's exposed and uses his action to move down into the trenches where he will wait. The Heretic Legion then brings in their Warwolf Assault Beast as he runs through the trench line, successfully passing a dash at plus 2 dice. He advances quickly. Across the board, the Brazen Bull enters on top of the trench line and will attempt to fire his Murad bomb. As he targets the Warwolf Assault Beast, his shot is going to miss. As the bomb explodes into the trench line, he will then attempt to dash, which is unsuccessful. In the last move for the Heretic Legion, the Death Commando, happy with his positioning here, out of line of sight, will attempt to dash first. That is going to fail. The end of turn 1 comes to a close. Light action taking place across the board as both sides make their way onto the board with their first wave. With model counts tied, we will have a roll-off for turn 2, and that's going to go over to the Heretic Legion. And up first, the Heretic Trooper is going to move and dash, going into the bunker and tucking out of line of sight. A line of Jabir enters the board and begins to move, successfully passing a dash, staying in the trenches. A Chorister walks onto the board for the Heretic Legion, but fails to dash. She is inside the trench line, out of line of sight. The Warband Captain for the Sultanate makes his way onto the board, passing a dash, staying in the trench line. On the other side, the Heretic Priest enters the board. He will dash forward, getting into cover. And Azib comes onto the board in the turn, will pass a dash, and he can move twice. The Death Commando activates for the Heretic Legion. He is going to try to dash first, which is successful as he climbs the tank. He then leaps across into the trenches and attempts to hide at plus dice, and that's good as well. Commando goes stealth, fades in the terrain, and out of line of sight. The Sultanate activate their Assassin, moving him down the trench line, passing a dash as he moves toward the Commando. An Anointed comes onto the board for the Heretic Legion, but fails to dash. The Brazen Bull moves forward just slightly and identifies the Heretic Priest as he moves up the flank. He fires his Murad Bomb, but once again it misses and scatters off the board. The creature then descends into the trench, getting cover. And spying the bull across the board, the Artillery Witch begins her movement. She finds a spot and begins to summon her Infernal Bomb. The bomb is launched through the air and impacts the Brazen Bull. The injury roll is a 10, which is an out of action, but the creature is tough and will count this as a down result. The Artillery Witch is going to dash to get out of line of sight, but she has done significant damage already to the Brazen Bull as he takes 2 blood markers from shrapnel. Hearing the impact, the Alchemist shows herself with a move and begins to target the Heretic Priest with her sniper rifle. At plus dice, her shot is true, finding the mark, and rolling on the injury chart, it will cause 2 blood markers on the Heretic Priest. The Alchemist is unable to dash, as the Werewolf Assault Beast begins to move 8 inches forward, and then successfully dashes to the opposing trench line across no man's land. The Janissary positions himself last, out of line of sight behind the bunker, as turn 2 concludes. And things are starting to heat up as fire is starting to exchange across the board. We do see a Werewolf Assault Beast now moving across the trench line through no man's land, and if the Heretic Legion win priority, he could potentially charge into the opposition's trench line. And as the Heretic Legion do win initiative, that is what we're going to see as the Werewolf Assault Beast passes a dash at plus dice and then launches into combat with the Assassin dropping off the bridge. His chainsaw mouth closes down on the Assassin, landing a hit, and the Werewolf uses 2 blood markers that the Artillery Witch gave him previously to get plus dice on the injury roll, and he takes the Assassin out of battle. A howl from the wolf can be heard across the trench line as the Sultanate activate the Brazen Bull in an attempt to counter. The Brazen Bull, badly wounded from an Artillery Witch bomb, moves to the top of the trenches and fires his Murad Bomb down at the Werewolf. Unfortunately, his shot scatters, missing the impact point. He will then attempt to dash and also fails. Meanwhile, on the right flank, the Heretic Priest makes his way up the board and targets the Brazen Bull. He lets out a shot from his bolt-action rifle at minus dice, which is able to hit, and the injury roll with Artificial Body is a 9, taking the Brazen Bull out of action. And a disastrous blow from the Heretic Priest as he passes a dash to move into cover. Over for the Sultanate, the Janissary passes a dash so he can see the Werewolf and then elects to charge into his back. He swings his mighty greatsword but misses. And over for the Heretic Legion, a Chorister activates, moving forward and then passing a dash to occupy an objective, trying to keep her head low and stay out of line of sight. Meanwhile, the alchemist is going to move inside of the bunker and look to get an elevated shot. With eyes behind a metal mask, she targets the anointed across the board with her sniper rifle and lands a direct hit. The anointed has reinforced armor, making this down result a minor hit, but he does suffer 2 flesh wounds due to fire. The alchemist then dashes away from the bunker window, getting out of line of sight. The anointed, while wounded, will begin his activation moving up the trench line. He is going to fail to dash and his activation will be over. A Lion of Jabir activates next, dashing forward and then charging into combat with the Werewolf Assault Beast. His teeth and claws sink into the creature, but fail to do any damage on the injury roll, resulting in 1 blood marker. The Werewolf Assault Beast is standing firm, but is now surrounded by the Sultanate. As an artillery witch moves, she will dash, getting into no man's land. The lowly Azib is going to activate next as he moves forward, attempting to get a shot off at the artillery witch. As he takes the shot with his Jezzail, this should be a hit. Elevation should cancel out range. We did count this as a miss. He does successfully dash away. As we flip back to the Heretic Legion, the trooper that has been hiding out in the Heretic bunker is going to pass on his activation. The Iron Sultanate captain is going to attempt to dash, and that is going to fail and his activation is over. The Death Commando fails his dash as well, and the turn comes to an end. And as turn 3 wraps up, we had a lot of action in that turn as a Brazen Bull was taken down by a bolt-action rifle from the Heretic Priest. We also saw an assassin go down to the Werewolf Assault Beast as he breached the trench lines. And with the Iron Sultanate winning priority in turn 4, the Janissary acts first and is going to attempt to take down the mighty Werewolf with his great sword. It's another unlucky break, however, as he swings and misses. The Werewolf Assault Beast then attempts to latch on to the Lion of Jabir, successfully hitting him at plus dice and then getting a down result. The beast then attacks with his Shredding Claws, using the blood marker on the injury roll but can't get it done. The Lion of Jabir will take 2 blood markers. Meanwhile, the alchemist moves back to her perch and looks at the artillery witch making her way across the board, opening fire and landing a hit. The hit is a critical, which adds 2 dice to the injury roll, and it's not enough. She just takes a blood marker. The alchemist then again dances away from the window, out of line of sight. With the artillery witch taking 2 blood markers from fire, she moves and dashes forward. While this makes her vulnerable, she aims to do a killing blow with her infernal bomb. Her shot scatters to nothing as she now faces the end of a Jezzail. The shot hits, blood markers are going to be used, and it takes the artillery witch out of action. So the Azib lands a fantastic shot and begins moving further down the trench line, staying out of line of sight, trying to get towards the objective. The Heretic Priest is onto him, however, as he moves forward and then dashes. The priest attempts to grab the Azib with Puppet Master, but fails. Meanwhile, the captain of the Iron Sultanate moves forward with a dash, and then he is going to charge into the Werewolf. Attempting to strike the Werewolf at plus dice, he almost rolls a Yahtzee, getting 4 threes. Iron Sultanate forces have piled in on the Werewolf, but they're unable to land strikes to bring him down as the Anointed moves and passes a dash. The Anointed then pulls up his rifle and fires, landing a hit into the captain, and the injury roll will be minor, causing a blood marker. The Janissary activates next, striking the Werewolf with his great sword, but it's only minor damage. He adds another blood marker. The Chorister, satisfied with her position, is going to pass as the Heretic Legion will activate a trooper. He's going to dash first to the window, which is good. He then takes a shot at the captain at minus dice due to range and lands a hit. The injury roll with standard armor is a down result, and the captain now on 2 blood markers. With an excellent shot from the trooper, he then moves back out of line of sight. And now positioning on objectives, the commando moves with a dash. He then will successfully hide. As turn 4 concludes, the Heretic Legion are really putting on the pressure as they have a higher model count now to occupy objectives. A trooper has one in the building, the courser is on one, and now the commando is on one as well. The Iron Sultanate getting really unlucky with their dice, especially when trying to take down the Warwolf. They will be up first for turn 5. And in turn 5, the Alchemist activates first through her Iron Mask, targeting the Heretic Priest, launching a shot with her sniper rifle and landing a hit. Standard Armor makes this a down result. He does take 2 blood markers due to fire. The Alchemist continues to pass a dash, as seen here, to remove herself from line of sight. The Werewolf Assault Beast comes down with his chainsaw mouth onto the line of Jabari, landing a hit, and then successfully takes him out of action, expending any blood markers. He then turns his shredding claws to the captain, landing a hit, and using 1 blood marker, almost takes the captain out of action. The Iron Sultanate really on the back foot with this Werewolf Assault Beast that is charged into the trench line. As the Abzeeb activates, he is going to make a move and then target the Heretic Priest, attempting to take him out of the game. His shot misses, however. He then fails to dash, leaving himself exposed, as the Heretic Trooper is going to fail a dash as well. The captain is still in the fight. He gets to his feet with his 3 blood markers and charges into the Warwolf. The dice are just against him, however, as he can't land a hit. The Courser then activates and passes on her activation. From the back, the Janissary attacks with his greatsword at plus dice, and he is going to land a hit into the Warwolf. -3 on the injury roll, it just results in a minor wound. He's now on 3 as the Heretic Priest charges into the Abzeeb. The Heretic Priest thrusts with his bayonet and lands a hit. A roll from the injury chart is going to be minor damage, which will be a blood marker, but then he casts Puppet Master to move the Abzeeb out of combat, allowing him to make reaction attacks where he lands another hit. This time the Abzeeb is not so lucky. Using the blood marker, he is taken out of action. And with another foe struck down, the Iron Sultanate do not have enough models to contest the objectives in this game. Knowing this, the Anointed is going to pass on this activation as he is in striking distance of the objective. The Commando is going to pass on his activation as well. As the turn comes to a close, the dice really not in favor of the Iron Sultanate in this game. While they do have 3 blood markers on the Werewolf Assault Beast, they've had many opportunities to bring him down, but they can't convert. Turn 6 is a bit of a formality at this point as the Heretic Legion occupy the objective in the bunker. The Commando occupies the sandbags and he is hidden. They also have a Courser occupying an objective down in the trenches. The Iron Sultanate take a morale test at plus dice, but it ends up failing, and they rout from the board. And with that, our story comes to an end as the Heretic Legion secure a victory over the Iron Sultanate. I really hope you enjoyed this presentation of Trench Crusade. We had a ton of fun playing this game, lots of laughs, mainly for David's rolls. As you could see, he really struggled to get those dice to go over 7. He even changed the dice he was using midway through the game. I don't know if you noticed they went from yellow to black, and it still just did not pan out. But that's why we play the games, and that's why we enjoy them. Once again, be sure to check out his My Mini Factory for a lot of the terrain that you saw today. And Supporters Club, your names are on the screen now. Thank you so much for your support. It's by no means necessary. If you've watched the video this far, you've done more than enough to support the channel, so thank you so much. We will see you in the next one. Take care.